This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me, I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know. Nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, I know it, I know.
Alright everyone, welcome back. S4Y VLOGCAST episode number 12. It is myself, of course, the ultimate live pro, Christian Soto, and a special guest, Landon Tice, the young prince everyone is talking about lately. The Twitter street's been buzzing. He's taken the name from Fedor, ripped it out of his hands, said, I am now here. I'm here to stay. I'm American as fuck. I've never been to Germany, but I will eat your lunch. Welcome. How are you?
I'm good.
So there's some new merch. Berkey created it. It has Alpha Reg on it, or Alpha Rex.
Alpha Rec.
Alpha Rex on it.
The Rex.
A little play on words there.
They're in.
They're in.
They're in.
We got the hats. The hoodie is in there. I was there when Berkey created all this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that was pretty nice. That was all right. But he's really proud of it. It's up there.
Make it pop off.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Make it pop off.
This is for the people. The people wanted this.
The people
They better buy some shit.
Listen, if they don't buy the shit, I'm shutting this whole shit down.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. I'll be like, listen,
it's done.
Listen. There's no more new merch if you don't buy this merch. Okay. Next is gonna be the Tap merch. Tap merch is on the way.
Tap merch is strong. It's like a hand on the table, like some sound waves kind of go off.
That was kind of nice. Oh. How do you like being the new appointed chosen one?
The appointed chosen one. There's a lot of big shoes to fill.
Like who's?
Like I have, yeah. Like I guess even now, like just being here, like I just have a lot of, I guess, necessary things that I might be responsible to do because I'm quote unquote disappointed next future one of the best players in poker from the US. So it's like I don't necessarily feel a burden to do something because I want to do it myself. Mm-hmm. Like I want to be one of the best players in the US. I want to play live high stakes, online high stakes, tournaments, all of it. And it's not even because like I want that title of the super alpha, right? But it's just like I know how much I love the game that I owe it to myself to be the best version of myself in this game.
So are you taking Berkey's Alpha Reg status?
I am not yet. Soon? Maybe?
Are you coming after all nicknames? Is that what you're saying?
These appointed nicknames are always, like, you can't give yourself a nickname.
Yeah.
Shulman gave me Young Prince,
okay,
and it stuck. But, like, Fedor can't be the Young Prince forever. Okay. Fedor was me once. He was 21, crushing life, winning all the tournaments.
So we have a lot of topics today. The first topic is you obviously took the Alpha Reg seat, you know, and you're here. You had a big summer. Let's start there.
I had a great summer.
Yeah, I feel like that's where we should start, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you were like, oh, I'm gonna be a tournament player, and so tell us a little bit like your background. So like you were playing 6 max no limit hold'em,
yeah,
right? Online.
Correct.
Where were you playing?
Ignition, Global Poker sometimes, and then I played live a little bit while coming up in the online streets. But my origin, so to speak, was just 2 cent, 4 cent on Global a year and a half ago, and then just had a really great opportunity from a great friend of mine who gave me some coaching and helped me when I was trying to become someone in poker, because I knew that it was just going to take a longer time for me to get to where I wanted to be if I was going to try to figure it out myself.
That's fair.
And he was an already 5-10, 10-20 winning reg on Global.
Yeah.
So it was like a no-brainer to me to just free roll ask and be like, oh, if I can ask you questions, will you just
help me?
And he was like, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy because like I feel like you and I have similarities in that way where like I saw someone yesterday on Twitter saying like, oh, this kid Landon just like lucky that he got free coaching and all this stuff. And it's like, and then I started kind of like reflecting on like how I came up too. It was like, it's like, oh, I just like straight up emailed like Berkey and was like, yo, like, can you help me?
Yeah.
I emailed like someone else, be like, yo, can you help me? Like, whatever. And I was young, hungry, like I wanted to win. Like, and people just like, if they see that in you, like you're willing to work, you're willing to like put in the hours, you're willing to like not be arrogant, you're willing to like be open-minded. People just like kind of help you out.
Yeah.
And see if you actually push through it. Like, it's not only like getting the help, but then on top of that, like making something out of the help. So, so I feel like you and I have similarities in that we took the approach of like, listen, we can't likely do this alone, but I'm also willing to be humble enough to say like, hey, can you help me? And I won't let you down, kind of thing. You know, like, do you think that's like an approach that like would you say that's like a less than usual approach today? Like, if
I want to say, and it's tough because the reason why my former coach, still great friend, isn't backing me anymore besides the volatility of higher stakes, was because we'd have a lot of arguments and discussions about hands when I was still playing like mid stakes, like micro stakes, mid stakes, like 200 NL online, 100 NL online, even 50. Like, there would just be times when like I would just outright disagree with him. Yeah. And it's just like, you're asking me for help, but then you're also saying I can do this myself. Right. Where it's like me, and I'm assuming you as well, because like you'll have your own arguments with Matt, I'm sure. Where
the absolute yelling matches.
Yeah. Well, like, what we did before we recorded this.
We're gonna get to that. But absolute yelling matches. Yeah. Like, to like, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And it's just like, I know he's trying to help me because he's helping me for that reason. He's not wasting his own time. He doesn't want to waste his own time. But then again, I also want to be my own person in poker, and I don't want to be the photocopy version of him.
Absolutely.
And I have things that I think make sense, which he agrees with, but it's something that he just doesn't do.
Yes, agreed. I think that's the same thing with me and Berkey. Yeah. Where it's like, we're not the same. Like, there are some things we do similar, but I'm not peeling the 10-9 suited off, like, you know, the 100.
Right, off the 175 squeeze. And you're
like, I'm just going to fold this one, you know, like, and maybe.
You're not even winning that much by calling.
Right. I've said this, I was having this conversation with Chewy yesterday, where I was like, like, I'm not, like, because most people don't, like, have, like, a complete breakdown of my game. So I was just like, I'm not Berkey, like, and that doesn't mean that it's good or bad. I'm just probably never been like as talented as Berkey to pull this shit that he pulls off. Like, and I'm like, if he pulls it off, great. Like, I've never done it because maybe like I don't know the fucking secret solve, you know? Like, so, and that's fine. So it's like, I've had yelling matches with him, and I've had like, and I'm like, I think I'm right here, and it's okay. Like, I think it's like kind of healthy for you to have like disagreements with people that are you consider to be close to you.
I mean, the problem with them, with like in these, like, I guess this small little live stint that I've played, like, if everything I've done has been given to me with a pat on the back and you played this great, at least even post review, like, it's different in a session. Like, you don't want to put someone on edge and say, it was a punt. But it's like, if I don't have conversations like that, I mean, I don't get better. Yeah. I just don't, because I'm still sticking with my own thought process of, like, maybe they do only have certain combos in range where I don't want that to be the case. But if that's the reality of the situation, I can't fight that.
So let's rewind to WSOP. Right?
Yeah, let's do it.
So summer starts, you're like, okay, I want to play tournaments. And then how do you get into the tournament scene? Because like you're playing 6 max, you're then, what happens? Like there has to be a transition where it's like, okay, how do you find the money? How do you, like, did you already have the money? How did you find the money? Like, what was like the setup? Like, what happened?
So before I came out to Vegas, on July 3rd. And I started playing tournaments around like the 14th. So it wasn't even right away. I just came out here because I was
You were
feeling
trying to
kinda-
like find the biddies on July 4th. Like you were trying to like be like, yo, where the chicks at? Like July 4th is lit. Like come through the crib. Like I got a barbecue, then Netflix and chill, and like we're just gonna like get lit. Like I'll take my shirt off, you take your shirt off, and then we'll just like figure out what happens next.
Yeah,
you know what
like,
I'm saying?
But
like
for me, that version is me sitting in my room playing 12 tables in cascade mode, playing on these 500 tables because games are too good.
and then after that, the fireworks come through when the biddies coming through the crib. You hit them with the Truly. You know, shout out to the Truly out here, and then like, what's up? You know. You take the hat off. You hit them with the waves.
With the wave flow, with the Prince Charming flow.
Yeah.
You
You see,
know?
now that's your new name, Prince Charming.
Ah.
Like I got you, man. I got you, Prince Charming with the Trulies.
With the
All right, July 4th passes. You got all the biddies. You got that out of the way. Now you're ready to play some tournaments.
Well, I started playing online cash, and then throughout this entire time, I'm in like calls all the time with Chewy and Nick Schulman.
Standard, you know, like just absolute standard.
Just
Like
standard.
anyone that comes to Vegas,
Just talk to them.
they could just be like, "Hey, Chewy, Nick Schulman, like I'll be in Hangouts tonight. Like just hit me up like 9:30. The chick leaves at 8."
Yeah, it's funny because Dan gave us the idea of Hangouts. Zach, yeah.
Dan,
Just Dan.
Okay.
Yeah, so like he'd be in Hangouts sometimes, and like we talk and be like, "Oh, this is much better than Discord."
Mm-hmm.
So we just talk about hands we played, run some spots from cash, and it kind of started because I wanted to have a little group, like a small little group of some people.
Yeah.
Just for some 6 max no limit talk. And Chewy was kind of talking to me about Nick and tournaments, and maybe there's some overlap of people in the group maybe trying to get better at tournaments.
Yeah.
And when I heard this, I was like, it can't hurt,
Yeah.
but I don't see myself playing tournaments.
Right.
And I mean, even then, like just like knowing Nick.
How
is
did the
a great guy.
conversation with Chewy breach though?
It was just like he was like, hey, because he was in the 6 max group for No Limit.
I see.
And he was like the branch between me meeting Nick.
Got it.
And he was like, okay, yeah, like Nick and some other friends of mine might want to learn some tournament stuff. If you want in, I think there's
Come
some
through.
overlap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, everyone in the group's just a smart,
Yeah. just
able-minded,
trying- right.
like very poker savvy kind of guy. So it can't hurt to have insight on other things.
Absolutely.
And from there, I started learning some tournament stuff. And then Chewy was just like, hey, maybe you should play tournaments. I know you know how high variance there is, but that doesn't mean the edge isn't there.
Right, of course.
The edge is still there.
Still, edges could be pretty massive.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's just like the thing about tournaments is like just getting to final 2 tables and then just running well in big tournaments.
Yeah.
Like if you just get there, like, and you see people just start blasting,
Torching EV.
Yeah, they're just torching in spots they just don't have to jam or just don't have to do certain things. I started selling action for these tournaments first, and just like selling like 1.1, 1.2
Right.
because the
I
field
was there
saw
that day.
he was there.
I was there that day when you were like, "Oh, what should I sell for in this?" And I was like, "Oh, sell for this and
Yeah,
sell for that."
we had some
and you were
talks.
like, "Oh, this is how these fucking MTT players
This
make
is how
money.
they do it. They oversell sometimes. Like they got some tricks, you know.
They
these-
got some tricks.
They
up
got
their
some
sleeve.
tricks in the bag. But yeah, it's just like from that, Chewy and Nick were like, hey, like maybe the right idea here is we just buy all of your action and give you a free roll percentage of these tournaments that you play. And you get to experience tournaments. And if you win, great. And if you lose, like no harm, no foul. There's
Right.
no makeup.
Absolutely.
So
That's a good deal.
yeah, no, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And then the free roll started, had a small percentage, and I had been losing a little bit, and then I with the last buy-in in like the perceived free roll, I was actually over the amount I was supposed to go, but I mean they just said fire. I was like, I'm just assuming I'm supposed to fire, so fire. I ended up getting 6th in the WSOP like turbo for 30K.
Yeah.
And I was at the Solve for Y house, and we were just, it was just an insane experience just having that final table and like
It's crazy.
running around the room, screaming about like, just like other people like busting, so I ladder and like all this kind of stuff.
That's a great one. Yeah. It
Yeah.
feels good.
Get them out. Get out. Get out. So from that, it was just amazing to kind of see what tournaments were like, and then won 30.5K from that.
Yeah.
And that was kind of started this same deal. So I kept playing more tournaments, but I got a bigger percentage of the free roll. So
That's
instead
good.
of like 10%, it was 15.
Yeah.
And then after that, I ended up getting second in the 100K players appreciation for 18.6. Lost to Melissa, heads up. Shout out to Melissa. Shout out to them. But yeah, and after that, like being at that final table and seeing these people like jam hands that are just absolutely insane, where the ladders are just, that's where all the money is.
And even you understand this now, like you're not even a tournament pro. You're just like, whoa, what's going on?
Right. I'm not a tournament pro, but if I see somebody jam 3-4 of diamonds for 12 bigs when I'm the equal stack and has no fold equity versus the big blind who's massively chip leading with 14-1, you don't do that. You just fold and you just move on.
Yeah. But your expected value went up like infinite by just
being
watching this happen.
Exactly. Like just seeing the macabre of this awful play is just like, wow, I just get to sit here and watch this. This is how these tournament players get third and second for all these scores.
This happened a long time ago, like with Sublime and like
the baby.
Yeah, it's just like homie from Florida, I forget his name, but he's just like chewing gum, just like watching like
Joseph Chung.
Yeah, Joseph Chung versus Duhamel, and like Joseph Chung just goes ballistic with the ace-7.
Yeah,
and then like the dude from Florida is just like chewing gum, watching.
He's like, hey, like you want to make something happen, make something happen. You know me, it's okay. Like,
yeah, it's like, oh well, I just laddered a couple $1 million just watching this happen. Okay, so then you get that, and then what?
Then the next week, so my first ever tournament Sunday full schedule, I ended up winning this player's appreciation, getting second for 18.6.
Yeah,
and having some other small scores, but I ended up having a good winning Sunday, and I was like, this is what the hype on Sundays are about. It's just all these high value tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, you're going to be in for a lot of buy-ins if things go awry.
Totally, yeah.
But you have the opportunity, and the opportunity is there, and that's what matters.
Mm-hmm.
Like just being able to play in these games and sit in these tournaments and have the opportunity to play against people for potentially a good amount of money. Like a good amount of money if you run well. So then next week, I win the 6-max, $500 6-max, where it massively exceeded the guarantee, and I won 30K again.
Yeah.
And I won that. I FT bubbled a 1K, so I won like 5.5 there. Like
big Sunday.
Big Sunday. Another just absolutely monumental, just a win all the run in the top 1% in the first 2 weeks of genuinely playing tournaments.
That's fortunate.
Yeah.
Let's get to like the last 2 weeks, right? So I was fortunate enough to be like, yo, like I want in on these group calls.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, yo, I feel like, one, I want to get better, too.
Yeah.
And like I'm friendly with you. I'm friendly with Chewy. Like I think I could provide, like I'm not a fish. Right. At least not in all spots.
That's the idea of the group is like people, but still a small group. Like we don't want to have enough people because if there's
it's not like a 20 voices.
Right.
Then it's like, okay,
then it's like a seminar type. Someone's trying to lead. People get lost in translation of not speaking because they can just kind of like skate by.
Yeah.
And it's just like trying to find people that have something to offer, but at the same time, we're really good with the group we have.
Yeah.
We just like there's a lot of trust in the group, and like everyone just sort of has like a very non-biased approach, and everyone has some sort of perspective to offer.
Right.
Mine being mostly a very theoretically sound knowledge of 6-max 100 big blind cash games and just understanding. Like it's funny, they joke about how I know how I'm gonna play a hand on flop. Like before turns and rivers, I'm like, oh, if the turn is this, I know what I'm doing. If the river is this, I know what I'm doing. And they're like, bro, like we're not even on the turn yet. Just like kind of like, but like
I feel like I've played like that too, where it's like, oh, okay, like I've planned for I start bucketing like which turns like and what sizing like am I doing on these exact. I think that's
like,
important.
When I have like, there's sometimes like I'll snap call with a bluff catcher because I've already prepared for what is actually supposed to happen, where they just still have bluffs and I've already thought about it. Like my mind just, I've thought about it. I like taking the extra time isn't gonna sway my initial response.
But you had that before this group.
I had that before.
How did you get there?
I just grinded online for 1.5 years, just playing every day for 12 hours a day.
What does grinding online look like to you?
I was just 6 tabling, and then maybe had something on the side, like a show or something. But most of the time, just getting in the streets and just playing, because I just saw poker as my out from college, because college to me was not something that I really enjoyed, because I didn't see it mapping out to something I wanted to do professionally. And then when I found poker, I was like, oh, I love this. And then I just sort of went after it and just played as much as I could. And I would skip classes all the time to play poker. And I would skip going to the gym and playing basketball with my friends to play poker.
But you didn't skip shorty, though.
There was no shorty to begin with. But
listen,
yeah.
if any of you ladies out there would like to come through my man Landon Tice's crib, it's between 1 and 3 a.m. Currently, he's staying at the S4Y studio house. Maybe allegedly sleeping on the couch. I don't know. But if you like Landon, if you like the couch,
there is a room. There is a room.
Oh, so you're already inviting
The room
them
is
to
there.
crib.
I just need to actually go. The couch is nice.
Okay, so you have options between the couch and the room.
And it's multifaceted around here.
I see. He likes the 3 ways, and I got you. Anyway, all right. So now I'm part of the fucking group. I've inserted myself between Nick, Chewy, and yourself. I'm in there.
In there.
I'm literally grinding Bellagio with my head, with like the AirPods, my phone, and just like we're running the fucking
The Sims are in
the
the
Sims.
We're in the street.
The Sims, like I'm the child of the Sim. Like I'm out there.
As Chewy and I like to call it, we are the Lorax, and we speak for the trees.
Oh my god, that's too much for me.
That's tough. That's strong.
That's super strong.
That's strong.
Okay, so now what? Like, okay, now we're present day. I'm at Bellagio.
He's there.
I'm there. Child of the. I'm the ultimate live pro. Like just like there, at all hours. I'm like, yo, young prince, come through.
You live at the Bellagio now.
Literally.
He texts me saying, what do you think, I live here? And I'm like, yeah, you live here. This is your home now.
Bro, it's wild, man. It's freaking wild. Like, I'm there. Like,
you are the mascot of the bee.
Yeah.
That's you.
I'm just the ultimate live pro, man.
You're there.
I'm just there. So I'm like, yo, Prince. I'm like, the games are good, man. The games are good.
They are.
You come through.
We do.
You come with Lynn. First day, you come with Lynn. You're playing 2-5.
We are.
I see you like wrecking her. Like just like running bluffs that don't.
The Queen Jack of Diamonds check raise. Doesn't make sense.
Just running bluffs that don't make any sense, and I'm just there laughing behind you. Like, come on, man.
The table talk was strong.
Yeah, your table talk
was strong.
Yeah, you had the Scott Seaver table talk going, and it worked on her that one time.
It won't work again though.
No, never again.
Never again.
But then I'm like, yo, Prince, 5-10 games, pretty good.
That was a good game. It wasn't even. It was a good
Listen,
game. It's always a good game.
Listen, it was good.
It was
okay. Good. You 4-bet versus the Shades kid. Shades is a former professional soccer player.
Shades is a beast.
He gives 0 fucks about who you are. How many sims
as
you're
he
in.
Should.
He doesn't care about your sims.
As he should.
He's a professional soccer player
who's
ready to fucking tear some legs off. Right. You 4-bet him with the ace king. He calls.
He does.
Hits the flop comes like ace a6 rain. You bet.
We hit him with the quarter pot.
Quarter pot, standard child of the sim. He peels. 10.
10 of clubs. Double flush draw.
Yeah. You bomb.
80%.
80% upside. Standard. Child of the sim.
Sim is here.
All of it. He says like this. You call.
Yeah.
He's like, I knew you had the ace.
He knew.
Turns over the set of 10s.
That's all she wrote.
That was it for that day. Okay, no problem. You go home.
There were some other hands, but
but whatever. That was the major.
That is the hand of that is the hand of I make my mark on the B now. Nah, just get stacked.
Correct.
Get stacked.
All right, so then whatever. Like it's all good.
I knew he had the ace. Was probably like in the moment the most like tilting / funniest thing I've ever heard. Because you're actively trying to draw to 4%, knowing that you're never seeing river unless you see the 10 on the turn.
He doesn't care, man. He's a professional
Right.
soccer player. You understand?
Yeah, he's in the streets.
He's in the streets.
He's in the streets.
He's
but
in the
like
streets.
in the moment, the entitlement of winning that pot and being like, okay, this is my game. Gone.
I'm like, yo, it's all good, kid. Like, whatever. You know?
It's on the thread. It's on the thread.
It's on the thread. Oh, it was on the thread. The thread was super lit that night. So the guy hits you with the super tap, right?
You started it.
Well,
you started it.
The joke's gotta fly.
This man looks at the guy until he actively sees him and taps the table to make sure he taps the table, and then he records it without the guy knowing he's recording that he's tapping the table, just to post it on the thread for you people.
Yeah, went like this, and then he goes like this to make sure that
everyone sees it.
Yeah. Well, he tapped the table first, but then I missed that one, so I had to redo it.
Have you ever told somebody nice hand after you won the pot?
No.
Has anyone told you that?
Of course.
Oh my God.
Many times.
It's just like you sit there like, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh man, nice hand. It's
Thanks.
like, bro, you won the hand.
It's like you won the hand. Like, congrats.
All right. So then I'm like, yo, it's all good, kid. Like, don't worry about it. Like, you leave. You owe me like $2,000. Because like you didn't bring any cash because you're an online pro. Online pros don't carry cash.
Oh, yeah,
like,
who's bringing 9 buy-ins to the B, thinking that you're gonna be stuck infinite? But here we are.
So then, a couple days go by. I'm at the B again. You start. I think I tell you it's good. Games are good. You start playing 10-20, right?
Yeah, 10-20.
Tell us that kind of like experience, like how that come to be.
10-20. Well, I was talking with Nick and Chewy as now from the free roll kind of turned into a stake of sorts. And they said, hey, this was at the time, they're like, just fire your high stakes stuff, fire the stuff that runs live. Like, we want you in those games. We know you're winning in those games. Just go.
Yeah.
Just go. And I was like,
that's high confidence from backing.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking about
a lot of money. Not
only a lot of money, 10-20 Bellagio is considered the toughest game in the country.
Says who?
It says a lot of people. I'm dead serious. 10-20 40 Bellagio is the toughest live game in America.
Okay. That's good news to me. That's good news to me.
Okay, continue. Go ahead.
But yeah, so we play in the game. Game then switches up to 20-40, from 10-20 to 20-40. And then that was because there was one table and then there was a must-move table.
Right.
And I got banished from my table, which was a very great game, to the other table because somebody left.
Okay.
After this happens, my previous game then decided to make their game a 20-40 game just so that they didn't have to move if called for the main game. Because our game in the must-move was a better game.
Okay,
so to combat them having to move, if they make it a new game, they don't have to move.
Right.
And everyone, I guess, agreed. And someone that was playing the 10-20 there didn't necessarily agree. So he wanted to play 10-20. And then they asked from our table, they said, hey, if anybody would like to play 20-40,
right,
let's make it like, sure, 3 people wanted to agree. We drew a card from the deck for seats. I drew the king. I get the seat.
Run, good kid.
We know how this ends, okay?
The people don't know.
They don't know yet. You'll know. Yeah. So we get back into the game. But I had a very great seats before I got moved from my game. And then one of the VIPs in the game decided to switch to my former seats, leaving me to the right of both of the people that are VIPs in the game.
So you have the nut worst seat.
So I ran good to get back in the game and then instantly went to fire when I got the actual worst seat after someone decided to move when I could have just got my seat back if he didn't move.
Right. But you're still in a good game.
I'm in the game.
Yeah.
The opportunity is there.
Yeah.
We're in the game.
Okay.
We're in the game. And this 10's hand happens.
Okay, tell us.
We're going to talk about this?
Yeah, we have to.
We got to talk about
We have to. It's been, for those of you that don't know, we will fill you in soon, but this 10's hand has been the talk of the week for the entire group. And Landon, unfortunately, the young prince, the young blood, the new freshness in our group, has unfortunately felt the wrath of the group for this hand.
Came down hard on this one.
So tell us what happened.
We opened 10s from the hijack, so it's 6-handed, low jack, hijack, cut off button blinds. So we opened from +1. A VIP calls from the cutoff, and the button, who is a perceived good reg of the game.
You've now
I mean, from what I was told, good reg.
Still
a good reg. Good reg. 3 bets the button to 580. I make it 120. Call 580.
All right.
So this is a pretty big squeeze here.
Depth?
I mean, then we're deep. We're probably about 175 bigs deep.
Okay.
So this is 2040. So 175 bigs. I probably have around 8K, 8.5.
So we're looking at like 200.
Almost 200, yeah. So I call. I almost like think about folding, and then I realize that's preposterous because he's not really incentivized to squeeze much with not great hands because the VIP also called, and that's where most of the money is coming from. So I call, VIP calls. So there's about 1,800 in the pot. Flop comes King 9-7.
Okay.
I check. VIP checks.
So how would you qualify this board? Like, because obviously the listeners are here. Like,
sure.
Like, they're like, okay, like, how can I get into the mind of Landon? Like, when you see this board, what's going through your mind in terms of like what your range looks like?
We missed the 10. What are you gonna do?
But how are you classifying this board? Like, in terms of like who has the most EV? Sure. How's range advantage splitting? Like, what are you thinking right now?
Yeah. So in this spot, 3 better just smashes it. He's gonna have all the ace, king, aces, hands like that with an uncapped range, and the VIP and I are sort of protected because we both have 9s and 7s in full. Mm-hmm. We never have kings, and he does, which is unfortunate for not having the nuts. But we also still have the VIP more than me has more continues, like with 10-8 suited and like some other like suited gambly hands. Because to me, they're just very easy folds pre out of position versus.
But yeah, he can have like 6-8.
He could have 6-3 of diamonds.
Right.
He could have, if he can have 6-3, he can have 10-8. He can have 7-9 for 2 pair. He can have king 7.
Yeah, king 9 suited.
He could have ace king that he's trapping, but doesn't want to play that big of a pot until he hits his king.
For sure.
So he still has hands.
So there's a little bit of a.
It's kind of like mergy in the sense of those two. Like the VIP is more protected than me because I'm mostly 4-betting my ace kings. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna call some, but not very much out of position, and especially in a bloated pot when he squeezes bigger.
Correct. Okay. So the EV distribution in terms of the nut side is
definitely for the
3-better, and then you two are kind of like splitting the other side of the pie in terms of continues.
Yeah.
And it's gonna play out that way.
He has more than me still because I'm pretty condensed in having hands that like. It's almost like I have a quote-unquote face-up range of pocket pairs, suited broadways sometimes, and the only reason that would be a call is because the VIP also calls.
Correct.
But the problem is your pairs intermingle with their pairs, and you can put yourself in a tough spot where you're playing bluff catch versus...
Right. You have poor interlocking equity with the original 3-better.
Right. Okay. Because I make good hands, he makes better hands.
Correct.
And that's a problem.
Right. Okay, so then let's see how we're going to continue here.
So we check, flop checks through. Turn is a queen.
Queen of hearts.
King 9-7 queen. Mm-hmm. King 9-7 queen. King of hearts on the board. Queen of hearts on the turn.
Right.
Which means that the button cannot have queen X of hearts.
Correct. And you actually have 10 of hearts in your hand.
And I have the 10 of hearts in my hand. So the only flush combo if he doesn't decide to c-bet would be ace jack of hearts, and then maybe some ace wheels. But even that's a very big ask. Because most of the time he's going to try to call in position infinite deep against the VIP and try to make a flush versus his flush. That's where most of the money's coming from. So me, understanding that I'm going to call these 3-bets with Jack 10 suited almost a good amount of the time. Maybe pure. Just in the moment, I might have like found a fold because I know that he is a pretty nutted range 3-betting for sure. I think it's very responsible.
Very reasonable.
It's a very responsible fold too. But calling's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
So I still have it. So then I decide to turn my pocket 10s, which is turned into one of the most bottom responsible bluffs in my entire range. Because I'll still have like 6s and 5s, but those aren't good bluff cans.
Talk to us how you get to that point. Like I know what you're talking about.
Sure.
But like the people here are like, okay, how does how does he classify this as like a responsible bluff? Why does he like he has worst hands
right
in his range? Like you
right.
like you know what I mean? Like so how do you get to this? Like why is tens like which is considered showdown value a hand that you want to turn into a bluff in this spot in this exact spot? Like why don't you choose a different hand?
So in a multi-way scenario like this, it's more important when choosing bluffs to block the nuts, because having the nuts in a deeper stacked pot is way more important. You almost want to, when you polarize, rep the nuts or rep nothing. And you want your nothing to effectively block the nuts, which makes it less likely your opponent can snap call you with the nuts.
Okay.
So in this spot, the nuts is Jack 10 suited. And if villain doesn't really 3-bet Jack 10 suited very much, which he's not really incentivized to, and maybe he just finds a call on the button, sure, I can see that being 100% range, but either way. He doesn't have Jack 10 very much in this spot is the big point.
Correct.
The VIP can, but because I block 2 10s, it's very difficult for them to have the remaining combos of Jack 10 suited. It goes from 4 to 2.
It could go to 12 though.
If he has Jack 10 off.
Yes. Well, we just gave him the 6-3 suited.
Yeah.
we have to
the
go.
thing about the turn is we'll worry about the river when we get there.
Yeah. Go ahead. Continue.
So in this spot, blocking the nuts and double blocking the nuts is just a lot more important to me than having a hand like ace 10 with no backdoor flush draw, like an ace 10 of spades.
Correct.
Like I'm going to bluff with 10x of hearts on the turn because I just have a lot of good rivers where I make a strong hand, or if something bricks, I'm more likely to have flushes than the other opponents in the hand, so to speak, except for the VIP.
Correct.
The VIP will have more flushes than me because if he has 6-3 suited, he'll have 4-5 suited, he'll have all of these hands that.
I think it's especially important because like when you have the 10 of hearts,
right,
and the king and the queen of hearts are present,
yeah,
the pro on the button doesn't like almost never has a flush when the flush fills on the river unless he has exactly ace jack of hearts that didn't bet the flop and just like landed on the river. So like
correct.
So like you actually have pretty clean ability to rep both.
I can rep straights and flushes
by the river.
I got it all.
Yeah, you got.
I look like I got it all.
You got all the moves.
I got it all. I have all the heart in the world. Too much heart sometimes to some extent.
So then what happens on the turn?
On the turn.
So for the listeners, it's king 9-7, king of hearts, turn queen of hearts. So
1,800 in the pot. I bet 1,300. So I bet pretty big here. Logically, if I have Jack 10, I'm going to bet massive because we're still 7.5K behind. Mm-hmm. I need to effectively build a pot here if I have the nuts. And I'm not double checking Jack 10 because I can't afford to check through.
Yes.
So I bet 1,300. The VIP folds. Pro on the button calls.
So what are you thinking right now? VIP folds, pretty good event for us.
It's good.
Like one of the better events. Like,
yes.
Because we're unlikely.
We're not bluffing river if he calls.
Right. We're unlikely to bluff VIP.
The only time we bet river is when we river a jack.
I think it's even reasonable for you to bet a 10 as well, like for value. Like
you could bet a 10 small. You could block fold.
Yeah,
block
for sure.
Fold. Yeah.
Okay. So the pro on the button, he calls. Now, what's your thought process in game?
Fuck. This is bad. This is very bad. Because he folds all of his dust that doesn't have a piece.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of very reasonable checkbacks with jacks and queens.
Okay.
So the queen is very good for him. I still have queens in my range, so it's fine. I'll still call a 3-bet there with queens sometimes.
But not perceivably, though.
Right. Like perceivedly, he might think I would just 4-bet queens.
Yeah.
But with the VIP in the pot and blocking him out, it's kind of a problem because if I do make a set, it's harder for me to get the max versus
correct
reg versus a VIP.
Right. So queen in his range, he does have queen. He has ace queen.
He does.
He still have a little bit of jack.
Yeah.
Right.
Depending
how he plays on flop, etc.
Right.
Depending
how much he thinks I could also have flush draws.
Correct.
If he thinks like I have 10x of hearts, I can see him calling jacks with no heart.
Yeah.
I can see that. Like I can see it credibly. I just don't know how much. Maybe it's almost never, which is fine, but it's a non-zero, but it's way lower than the percentage of him having queens. or just king queen that checks back sometimes, which is probably very rare.
And then you think he also has like ace queen.
I think he has ace queen sometimes if he thinks I also have a bluff. Ace queen without interference of hearts.
Okay.
Like if he had ace queen with a heart, he's folding.
Yeah, he's folding.
But if he has ace queen of clubs, I can see him peeling one, hoping I have a draw. Draw doesn't materialize, and then I have to
Make
give
a
up.
decision.
I have to figure out what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Because at that point I have to decide to bluff with my brick draw, which is a problem because I want him to have the hearts. If I have them, that's a problem. So when he calls, very unfortunate. We're looking for the jack. River's the deuce of spades.
Okay, so
Not the jack.
Absolute nothing.
Dust.
Absolute dust.
Draw bricks.
So
There's
you're
like-
still repping now. You're repping super polar, right?
Right. Now I'm repping, like, my worst value hand would be nines for a set. So there's about 4.5K in the pot. I stare him down. And we stick it all in the middle for like overbet jam for like 5.5K effective.
So this is the biggest live bet at this point.
At this point in time, this is the biggest live pot I've played.
Yeah.
We run it.
You just run the bluff.
We run it.
Okay. And then what happens?
He puts in the call pretty quickly, but like not too thrilled because he knows that I'm just gonna have Jack 10 here a lot. But he just kind of puts in the call, just like, okay, I guess just show me the Jack 10. I flip over tens, knowing I don't win.
Yeah.
But showing the heart's kind of nice. You know, like showing
Just
that
showing
I have
the
tens
heart.
there. Showing tens there is good because people are like, okay, like, this guy's kind of psycho. Like it's a good thing.
How are you feeling after it?
He lifts over queens, and in the moment, I think, okay, I ran into a hand that's top of range. He has calls on the turn that fold the river. Queens isn't one of them.
Okay.
And I'm feeling good about it. I'm just like, okay, I think my line's still good. I don't care that he has queens in the moment.
So I get home, right? And the Hangouts is on. And I'm just hearing like you getting fucking ripped. And I'm like, damn, this poor kid. Like I literally just told him the hand was fine. You know?
This man lied to me. He lied to me to save my feelings and then waited for the whole crew to attack and then was like, yeah, listen to the crew on this one, bro.
Well, listen. I'm considerate of you big time, okay? Like, I know.
You were me once.
Yeah, man.
You're still me now.
I know. That's what I'm saying. You're in session, right? Literally in session. I'm not going to be like, yo, your line is trash or like, yo, this is sucks or whatever. And this in session, this is how I play. In session, whatever you do is correct. We'll worry about it after. Like in session,
yeah.
You need to be like, yo, I am a fucking end boss. I ran that line and I'm unlucky to run into top set, but my line is fucking boss, right? Because you're still playing hands. I don't need you thinking about like, oh shit, was my line good? You know?
Right. Do I have to stop bluffing now because
Right.
whatever?
I'm just like, yo, good shit. Like really good combo. Like you went for it. You went hard. You went hard in the paint right now. You know? So whatever. I get home. I'm like, damn. I didn't get to tell the kid that it wasn't good yet. Like, and I'm just hearing the chew, like literally chew you another one. Like the chew's out there like, listen, man, what's going on? Nick is like,
he's so nice that when he's like ripping you to shreds, it's just in a nice way where it's like, you could tell he's like, yeah, like I know what you're thinking, but just no.
Yeah. And
No.
like Nick, you know, he's smooth he's a smooth talker, but he's like,
Nick liked it.
No, yeah, but Nick
liked it.
But
But Nick also agreed with like, okay, like maybe there's some spice here where it's good in theory, bad in practice.
Nick is just like, listen, you should listen to the chew, man. You have to listen to the chew. They're monsters out there. They're monsters out there.
They're animals.
Yeah, they're animals.
The word is
They're
animals.
animals out there. They're animals. It's a gorilla play though. It's a gorilla play. And so, okay, we ran the solve, right? Child of the sim. The solve says the kid is right. And it's like, okay, but it doesn't end there.
It does not.
It is like, okay, the kid is right. We knew the kid was right. We were like, no, the kid is right in theory. But then what happens? What does the crew tell you?
It's bad in practice.
Why? You might not fully agree. That's fine to not fully agree yet.
Of course.
It's fine.
Well, I agree with the sentiment. It's just difficult to rationalize, at least now, where it's like, okay, like his range is too nutted to continue on turn. So the turn bluff is great. We're not there's no arguments there. But river, when they only have certain combos in range, and not only in the all or nothing, but like if it's 95% queens and then like this small sliver of stuff that doesn't work, if you even like, if I logically think, okay, I bet overpot on the river, he has to call and be right 40% of the time, and the greater percentage of his range is more than 40, the bluff is losing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much I want the bluff to work. It doesn't matter how much heart I want to have or how much aggression I want to like say like fuck these guys, like this is my game, like I'm running this and you can't do anything about it.
Or what the sim says.
Or what the sim says. And if their range is too constructed towards having just the value hands when they continue turn, where like maybe he's supposed to call, well he definitely is supposed to call with hands that do fold river in theory, but in practice if he just makes his life easier and folds those hands on turn, he's way too imbalanced on river to ever find a fold.
Is that difficult for you to accept? Because at first, like hearing the conversations, like I was there, right? Chu was there, Schulman was there, and it was like, okay, you're fighting it. Like, listen, my play is right. How do we know if this guy like is actually doing this or that? And Chewy's just saying like, there are situations in live poker, like, you know, with his smooth voice, you know, he's like super calm, like Zen. He's like, Landon, like in live poker, there are situations where players only have certain hands. Yeah. And you're just like yelling. And I'm like, fuck, this kid's like this kid's gonna.
It's not gonna end well.
It's not gonna like the backing deal just started.
Yeah.
Like, no. But obviously we all believe.
The deal is gonna run amok.
No, obviously we all believe in you, so it's all good. But like at first you're like, no, like, okay, either he sucks or I'm right. And it's like, how are you currently, like, because this is still going, like your emotions are still in it, right? Well, how are you processing?
A lot of it, and even like going through the arguments then and even now, like sometimes we fight for our own purpose in order to feel a certain way about situations. Where it's like, I want this to be right because if I'm wrong, it invalidates me and what I know. And I don't want to feel
That's
like
deep.
that. Yeah. Like, I don't want to feel like there's something that I'm missing because it makes me perceivedly look like I don't have an idea of what's going on. And I don't like to feel like that.
Right.
And that's not from a place of whether it's true or not. That's just an egoic sense of I know what's right. I know it's fine. I got unlucky he had top of range. Yeah. But it's not unlucky if 95% of his range is a set or better.
So how does that... Okay, so now you've played 2 sessions of... I mean... No, I'm not trying to...
No. I just mean like this next hand's another rough one.
Okay.
It's another rough hand.
So you come back, you're like, okay, I'm not going to give up. Like,
we're back.
We
go.
So I'm like, okay, like, whatever. You're like, yo, Chin, you have some money? I'm like, yeah, I got you, bro. So I hand you, like, you know,
don't talk about it. Then people are going to start coming for you money. They're going to say, yo, Chin's got some money he's handing away, huh?
So I hand you a brick, you know. I'm like, yo, here's a brick. That's $10K. And I'm like, go get it. Go get after it.
Get after
it. So we go. And you're like, all right, you get in there in the streets. Yeah. And then you, a hand comes up.
Hand is back.
So tell us how this hand goes.
VIP. So this game is also a 20-40 game, sometimes 80. Like, so this game is not just like 20-40. Like, it's 20-40, 80. Like, the biggest stakes I've ever played. And
are you scared?
I just ran a bluff with the 10s. No. Like, I feel confident in myself. I feel confident in what I've learned. I feel confident in the people that have faith in me to just make the right decisions and put myself.
That helps a lot, right? Like,
it does.
Like the fact that
I literally in games sometimes will like repeat to myself like, you're here because you have people that believe you can do this. You're here because you've proven yourself enough that you studied in these spots. Just play the game. Whatever happens is irrelevant.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's good. I've said that to myself too, where it's like,
just play the game.
One of the first times, this might feel weird, but like I was playing against like Daniel Negreanu, and like I grew up watching Daniel Negreanu. This guy's sitting in front of me with $100,000. Yeah, and I'm like, holy fuck. Like, and I'm on like TV or whatever, however you call it, stream or like on PokerGo, and I'm like, and it's on Facebook. And I'm like, holy fuck! Like, I'm literally playing with Daniel Negreanu. Like,
and people are watching.
People are watching me, and like,
they're gonna judge you.
Yeah, it's like, what if I fuck up? Like, whatever.
Right. What if you lose a hand?
Yeah.
What if you?
So then, all the things, right? All the like,
all
negative,
the things that don't matter start to matter more.
So I just like breathe, and I'm like, at the end of the day, like he has to make the same decisions I have to make.
Right.
And I know that I am a child of live deep stack no limit hold'em. Yes. Like. He plays tournaments. Yeah. Okay. Like you're in my world. Like this is me, right? Yeah. And I remember like we play a hand, and I like lead on him on like a tricky board where I know he's not studied. Yeah. And I hit him with like the lead with like the gut shot and the overs on like the board he doesn't have advantage on, and I'm like, okay,
the 6, 7, 8. You got the 9, 10.
Yeah. I had the ace 10, but the backdoor suit. Right. It's a little bit spicy, but I know
9, 10's a straight, but we got it.
Yeah, I got the other one. I got the ace 10. I'm like, okay, whatever. I might get him to fold better aces and whatever. I have better candidates, but like, come on.
In the streets.
I'm in the streets. Like I'm in the streets. Like I'm not here to like be perfect. Yeah. So I turn a straight, and then I hit him with the check. Theoretically, I should be betting him like quarter pot.
You could bet a lot.
Yeah, but I know the check's going to like trick him, right? So he checks back. River's a king. And he's like, aha, my card, right? And I'm like, yeah, don't talk to me, man. Your meta's working. Meanwhile, I'm sitting with the fucking nuts, right? And then I hit him with a bet. And he's like, small. No, like medium, like B80, B75. Sure. Right? And he's like, I hit my best card. So he calls. And then I hit him with, you're good.
Yeah, they're not the $20 chip.
Oh, 9 on the turn. Two pair. Soto is straight. Negreanu Rivers 2 pair.
Christian's definitely going to make some money. Literally never used $10 chips. 20s are easy.
Your meta really confuses me.
That's awesome to hear. That's kind of the goal.
Okay.
Don't bet too much because I won't call.
I understand.
Just way smaller.
I think he's going to bet.
340.
340? You have like a 5 or something goofy like. I don't know. But you know what? I like to sleep at night. This is one way that I do it. Yeah. Just pay and see it.
You win.
Yes!
Oh, wow. Oh, here is the slow roll.
The reverse slow roll.
Here it is.
Kings and 8s.
Nice.
Got him! That's not legal. Way to go. He said you win. Isn't that binding? Oh. The words were
that's great.
So, but he said...
You can get Paul Campbell from Aria.
Yeah, that's okay.
If you do that to me,
I would never do that to you.
Christian Soto.
Like,
what an animal you are.
I hit him with
what? Show respect to the legend of the game.
No, I was in a mode where like, you're in my world, bro. So I was like, you're good. And he goes, yeah. He turns over like he made a big call, right? And then I just like, and he's like, yeah, celebrating. And then I just like quietly just like flip the straight. And he just goes, oh my God. Yeah. And like the announcers are going crazy. They're just like, Christian Soto just fucking slow roll Daniel Negreanu. Right. Like this kid just
that's strong. That's strong.
Straight gorilla. Like that's strong. Straight gorilla.
That's
like,
strong.
I was like, I'm here.
You're making enemies, but you're here.
I'm just here. Like, let's go. And I was at that point, I was like,
how old are you this time? 26?
Yeah, I'm young. I'm probably like 3. Yeah, about 3 years ago. I was like, yo, I'm ready. Like, I just slow rolled Daniel Negreanu. Like, so, that felt good. But yeah, so you're feeling good. You're like, got people behind me. I'm playing Bellagio upstairs, ready, battling.
Here.
Okay. Well, tell us what's going on.
And like, I know it seems like, oh, like you're 21 and like you're playing these high stakes stuff. But to me, like, it's not about time. Like, it's just about preparedness. And I feel ready. I feel ready to be able to do that in the sense of practical, theoretical knowledge of how the game is played. Yeah. There's stuff that I still don't have just because of lack of time in that environment, for a better word. Yeah. Like, the reason why I'm so, like, very strong online is because I've been in those streets. Like, I put in the reps. Yeah. And I haven't put in the reps yet, but that doesn't mean I'm not winning in the game.
For sure.
It just means that there's things that I might not be picking up on that mean a lot to win rate over time.
Okay, so then another hand goes down.
This was yesterday. I have a decent stack at this point. I bought in for like around 8K. I probably got like 11 in front of me now. So like we're winning some pots, doing some things. And I'm like, oh, hey, like maybe I might have a decent day here in the streets, get back after and do well. So VIP limps. I'm in the small blind with ace of clubs, queen of spades, and I make it 180. So it's 20, 40. There's a limp for 40, 180. Very standard size, a little bit bigger because out of position.
Good. And because of VIPs.
Yeah. A solid reg in the game in the 6th seat, 3 bets to around 720.
Okay.
Folds back to me, and I just have like this small little feeling of like, I think he thinks I'm light because the recreational limped, and he
trying to ISO the reg.
Thinks he knows to some extent. I understand how polarized a big blind 3 bet is. So I decide, I think he's messing with me because he thinks I'm messing with him, which I would, but this time I had a decent hand. We put in the 4 bet to 1800.
Okay.
So he makes it 720, I make it 1800. And he has me covered. He's been in this game since 10 a.m. He's been in the fucking streets. So I have 11K, I 4 bet to 1800, and he calls.
So let's stop there.
Let's stop.
Because a lot of people, you know, listening to this are like,
how do you 4 bet ace queen?
I mean, like, what the fuck? Like, when I get 3 bet in my game, I'm not 4 betting ace queen, okay? Like, we already have position, okay?
We didn't have position.
okay,
We don't have position, but we have a good hand, okay? We have a good fucking hand. And now this kid is turning ace queen into a bluff.
Correct.
For the tiny size, like 718 and dust. Like a click back. He just click backs ace queen. This isn't a tournament, okay? We're sitting with $10,000.
Almost $11,000.
What are you doing?
Yeah, so in this spot, calling out of position makes my life a lot worse because we're playing with a capped range versus an uncapped range for a lot of money, a lot of big blinds. And for what it's worth, ace queen this deep can easily just be a fold as well. But at the same token, it's also a spot where like I just go with a read of mine that he's messing with me, and instead of playing out of position, if I just win pre, hands over, pick up the money, life goes on. Or if he calls, I get to play a bigger pot with a post-flop edge that I think I have, and I'm just going to navigate post-flop just fine. And I'm more comfortable playing on the aggressive side of the game tree than defensive.
So you 4 bet 2.5x out of position with a drawing hand offsuit.
A parking lot hand. Parking lot.
So tell us. Okay, so now what? Okay, you 4 bet because there's a decent candidate.
It is.
What is like your 4 bet range looking like here?
Probably like 10s, jacks, queens, 10s plus, and then most of something I got wrong, not in game, but just overall thought of live versus like deep stack play, and just I haven't looked at enough sims for it yet. Is just when you 4 bet, you want to have suited hands deeper.
God.
Oh my God, you just scared me. You just fucking scared me. Oh my God, my heart just fell into my chest.
I've said this to the group. I was like, listen, I don't think ace queen off is that good as a 4 bet deep out of position in live poker games. Just have a suited hand. Ace 10 suited is kind of a good hand.
It's better to fold. It's better like in the hierarchy of plays with the ace queen. I would argue that ace queen suited as a 4 bet is like a B tier level play in the sense of it's fine. You can do it. It's fine. With other dynamics I thought were going on, I think it's good. But in like a standard vacuum spot, I think an A tier play is fold, B tier play is 4 bet, C tier play is call.
Okay, perfect.
Because calling out of position is fine, but your life becomes very, very difficult on later streets in a bloated pot out of position against a good player.
Got it.
You can just fold, lose the 180 in the pot for ISOing the whale, and being like, okay, you got it. in the live environment because he's not. Most live players won't have enough 4-bet bluffs in range or 3-bet bluffs in range from the big blind to even. Like, if they don't have enough bluffs and they only have aces and kings in most of these like smaller stakes games, like if you're playing 1-2 and 2-5 and you see a cold 4, you run for the hills. You run for the hills.
I'm out. I'm outie.
I don't make this play in a 2-5 game.
In most environments.
Yeah.
Right.
So in this environment, I give this guy credit for being good enough to have bluffs here, for thinking that I'm messing around. And it made sense to me in the moment to 4-bet, and I do. And then we would go post. Okay. We take it to the streets.
So tell us what the flop is.
The pot's about 3,800 after, so 36 and then some dead money. So it's like 3,800. Flop comes Jack 4-3, monotone spades.
Okay. So what are you thinking once that flop comes out? Because this is gonna be like a very strategy heavy like pot. Kind of feels like
a little bit, just for these two.
Okay, so monotone board comes out. You're like child of the sim. You're ready. Like, what are you thinking? Like, this board comes out. What's the EV distribution between the two ranges in a 4-bet pot after you 2.5x with your range? Any calls?
So it just depends on the construction of the ranges itself. Because if he doesn't have enough 3-bet bluffs, the EV is going to change. Where if he only if he's trapping with aces and kings, and we only have in his range aces and kings, he's going to have a much higher EV on this board because I'm still going to have my 4-bet bluffs, like my ace queen and my whatevers.
Whatever other construction has.
Yeah, and even like 10, just like aces and kings just smash us. So, in this spot, giving him some credit for some bluffs. Not all the bluffs, of course, just some. We're probably going to be slightly ahead because we have the overpairs, but he's also protected by having jacks. He's also protected by having ace-10 suited and some other suited hands, but he also has a lot of whiffs and dust.
Yes.
So in this spot, most of my range, there's going to be mixing on a monotone board, but if we bet, we're going to choose a smaller sizing than a bigger one. Because if he has ace-10 of hearts, just dust.
He's just done.
You don't have a choice. You just have to fold.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I end up going for a quarter pot. Okay. I end up going 1,100 into about 38. Okay. And just easier to pick up a 1K and like a $100 chip and just go small. Small chips.
Smooth.
Very smooth. No fear.
You don't have to verbalize anything.
I hate verbalizing bet sizes.
Yeah,
unless it's all in.
Well, yeah. You're an all-in pro. Good.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And he calls. Okay. So I'm like, okay, he's got a lot of single spade hands. He has jacks sometimes. He has
like 10-10 with a spade.
Yeah,
maybe
of course.
Queen with a spade. Ace king, king of spade, ace queen, ace of spade.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's also got, he can't have ace queen of spades because I have it. Right. But he can have.
So the board is jack of spade, 4 of spade,
3 of spade.
3 of spade.
So I go quarter, he calls. Turn is the 3 of diamonds.
Okay, that's a pretty good card for our range.
It's a good card for us. We still have the overpairs with spades. We still have the overpairs without a spade. And we still have flushes, of course. We just have very clean nutted value, and he never really has very much of the connectedness of having a 3. But I never have a 3 when I 4-bet. Kind of.
Just so infrequent.
It's just like sub 5% that I even have to find it in game with an ace 3 of diamonds, which I just wouldn't. So we go, pot's about 6K at this point. We bet 2,200, so we're pretty geometric. We're still repping the same hands, aces with a spade, kings with a spade.
Setting a geometric all-in on the river as well.
Right. So we...
Talk to us about that. Like, what does that mean? Because I understand your language.
Right. It just means that your bet sizes make sense in terms of math of betting this around the same size of like quarter pots and half pots, and sort of filters out for leaving out these weird bet sizes of like 72, 35. Like, it's just kind of irrelevant.
And would you say that then also he has to defend as well, like a geometric range going from turn to river?
Yeah. His range, he has hands that shed, but they shed at the same percentage of the bet size.
Correct.
And if the range, like if his range is imbalanced by not defending enough on turn, I make money by just betting that bet size versus whatever the hell he's going to do.
Yeah, perfect.
And it's very difficult to find all of the defends necessary, and I'm not saying I know them because I don't. Because that's how you get, I guess, theoretically sound at the game, is understanding what you're supposed to defend versus bet sizes. Because let's say on the flop, I just 5x pot all in. If he wants to defend correctly, he needs to know what hands call and what hands just fold. Because a lot of good hands will just fold.
Yeah, of course.
Because at the very best, they're going to be flipping, and at the worst, they're just dead.
Yeah. Okay, so then we
go 2,200 into 66.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, around six. So we go small, like almost a third-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like we're not going to go 2167.
Yeah, of course.
And he calls again. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, he could have jacks. He still has single spade combos. And he still has hands like tens with a spade that might think I'm just messing around, or I just have a one spade hand that will give up river.
Okay, so Jack 4-3. Jack 4-3 monotone spades, turn 3.
Yep.
Now we're going to the river.
River's an offsuit 6. We brick, no flush, no ace, no queen for us. Sad times ahead. And at this point, my range still looks like over pairs with spades. I would bet jam most of the time with these hands. And I would also bet jam with ace king, ace of spades. Like, I'm going to have some bluffs here too. And we decide to jam for about 6.5K.
Do you ever have flushes here?
Of course.
Okay, so you jam.
I jam. So this is
is your heart beating?
Yeah.
Heart's beating.
Heart beats fast, but my heart always beats fast in these bigger pots. I guess I can't help it yet.
So you're just like
blood's pumping. I kind of keep my head down a little bit.
Did you verbally say all in?
Of course.
Did you do the? Hold on.
I didn't have a hood. I had golf clothes on.
Whew, that's boss. You're just like, listen, I just came from a golf and I'm all in, bro.
Yeah,
like
I'm here.
I just hit the 18 and like, let's go. I'm here. I'm ready.
I had to take a break from the 18 because my shoulder right now is a little bit.
Okay.
But we're in the golf suit.
Okay, so you hit him with the all in.
Hit him with the all in.
Okay. He's directly to your left too, right? Like there's a little bit of like energy here. Like
there's a pulse here.
Right, because it's like boom, boom. Like literally, it's not like someone across the table. Like there's
And there was a little bit of a dynamic of where I check raised river with 2 pair and he ended up bluff catching me and calling and losing. So it's like, okay, maybe he thinks I'm not as capable with bluffs because when the one hand sample he has of me that he's seen, I had it.
Right. So you're all in.
I'm all in.
Now what happens?
All the money goes in. Goes deep into the tank. They become spectators. People start.
It's a big pot brewing.
Looking over. A big pot is brewing. Some of the VIPs are standing up from their seats to look at the board, just kind of hovering more, seeing it, seeing what happens. Deep in the tank, the guys keep talking around, saying, "Oh, like this guy just bet like $6,500. This is potentially a 23K pot, pretty big pot." And guy goes into the tank and like talks to the guy all the time. He's like, "Hey, like give me a second here," and he tells the table like, "I'm just gonna need like a minute more to kind of think about what I'm doing." And I'm never calling the clock on the guy. Like,
no, I mean,
I'm never calling the clock on anyone.
You would hope that like the respect is mutual.
Yeah.
Like if you were deep in the tank with a huge pot, like no one's gonna call the clock on you.
And those games, from what I've seen, people are very respectable of that because like it's a big pot.
It's big money. Yeah, it's big money. It's real money.
It's funny to me because in game I see things as pot share and percentage of pots versus how much money it is.
We're trained to do that.
Right.
Like we're just like, okay,
no, of course. But like in the live environment, even like for good regs, like that's not that. It's hard to do that
because it's real.
Because $6,600 can buy me some nice pair of shoes many times over.
Absolutely.
I could go golfing a bunch. I can get some new clubs. You know, I can do a lot with $6,600.
Absolutely. So he goes deep in the tank.
Deep into the tank, and he ends up.
Are you nervous?
I'm nervous because I know that I have a bluff, and if I get called, I lose.
It's over.
I never get called by ace 10, ace of spades, hoping that I'm a psycho.
When he goes in the tank, he doesn't have the auto folds.
Yeah. Oh, he doesn't have the snap calls. He doesn't have jacks.
Right, but he also doesn't have the auto folds. Like he doesn't have ace king, ace of spade anymore.
Right.
Like he doesn't have like no pair.
Right.
Right. He has showdown.
He had a pair. He had a pair.
Okay, but he doesn't have non-showdown.
Right.
He literally has something that
he has something that is better than what I have.
Correct. You're losing.
I lose. If he calls, I lose.
Right. So
deep in the tank.
Deep in the tank. Says he needs another minute.
Takes the minute.
The minute goes by. What happens?
Puts the chips in, size a little bit.
One chip or just like what happens?
A stack of like the 1Ks and
just boom.
Just boom.
Okay, and you just.
I flip. He flips over ace-4 of diamonds.
You shoot me the text message.
I shoot you in the text. I give that guy a fist pump. I say, "Nice call, brother." He says, "Yeah." Starts to talk about how he likes me. And I'm
Oh
a
my
nice
god.
guy.
Oh my god.
He hits me with the I like you.
Yeah, I like you too, buddy. Fucking 20,000 pot, like going
That's
the other way.
So yeah, both of these previous biggest pots of career have both been
20,
very theoretically sound bluffs.
Yeah.
In spots where first one, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Second one,
What did he call with?
he had ace-4 diamonds.
So the board is Jack 4 3 monotone spades.
Yeah.
3
6.
6.
You got
Did
us.
you expect to get called by this hand?
No.
Why?
It's not a good call. Do we have to get into why this is like not a theory call? There has to be something here that's not going on.
I'm just saying, like, what I mean, when
he has to pray. I have ace king off.
When you table your hand.
Yes.
Like we're trying to get you table your hand. He tables his hand.
Yeah.
What goes through your mind?
Bewilderment.
Just like what just happened?
Like a wow. Like a okay, like nice hand, like you got it, I guess.
I mean, I would have been like, what just happened?
I wasn't mad at the guy at all. I wasn't
No.
upset at the guy. He made a call that he wanted to make, and so be it. Like
yeah.
No one's telling him to play a certain way, and I don't think his play versus me specifically is probably not even that bad.
It could be debated. But okay, so then the chats are going bananas.
Chat's
right?
bananas.
Chat is bananas. Yelling is going on. I've been here. Okay, but besides all that, like how do you feel in the game? Like how do you feel in the game? I feel
like I ran a play that I wanted to make. I feel like the play had merit, and all I can do is what I think makes sense in the moment, and just be responsible about it. I'm not going to take ace queen of hearts and just go 3.
Yeah.
Because I know that's bad.
That's bad.
I know that I know the merit of a play from a theory standpoint, and I'm just not experienced enough, I guess. Well, no, it's not I guess. I am inexperienced, and I don't understand the thresholds that people have when they continue in spots.
One of the things that we spoke about was like, okay, like the threshold, like I was telling you this, like we spoke about this a couple minutes ago, literally. Like I was like, hey, like Landon, like how many times did 200 bigs go in with kings online? And you're like, never.
Never.
And I'm like, it goes in super smooth live. Like
there's no question. You just chalk it to a cooler.
Yeah. And it's like, so what is that like now that you've played some sessions, you played 5-10, you played 10-25, 10-20, you played 20-40, 40-80. Like you've gone like the gauntlet of like
in 2 days.
In 2 days of like Bellagio high stakes.
Yeah.
Like from the baby high stakes to the high stakes, right? Yeah. Where do you see the difference between online and live? Like obviously like you're winning in both.
Yeah.
But what is the difference? Like
the understanding of theory in live poker is just not there.
Okay.
It's just not there for most live pros, and even for online pros that play live and that are seasoned, I guess, and have put in their time. Understand that theory matters to an extent, but it's not the be-all, end-all of how to play in these games. Like, if you're playing in a game because there are VIPs in the game and you start trying to run theory plays, sure, you're not going to lose in the game, but it's back to the question of, do you want to win $100,000 with bigger variance because they're bigger pots? Do you want to win $1 million where you just get to kind of coast and play ranges the way you think that they're played in game?
So what would you, like, okay, obviously you're like one of the best, period, right? But I mean, I have to boost you up. Like, we just like literally like I was in a conversation with you and like the group, and it's like, man, I feel bad for this kid. Like, that's fucked up. Like,
well, I mean,
the kid's a god, but like, what, like let the kid live. Like, you know,
jokes gotta fly.
The jokes gotta fly. But at the end of the day, like, obviously the group believes in you, but it's like, okay, what is the difference? Because it's like people think live people suck, and maybe they do suck, and like that's fine, right?
Well, live players
where does the edge come from?
Right.
Like,
live players are just playing their environment. Like,
yeah.
It's not that live players suck. Like, it's something we were talking about. Like, they're just good in their environment.
Yeah.
And they understand how to win in their environment, which is different than an online environment. Which is why some of the high stakes live regs will play like 5-10 or 2-5 even online for like practice on getting better to an extent.
That makes sense.
Even though it doesn't even matter because they're not transferring anything they do or learn from online to the live arena.
So I got a lot of text messages saying like, yo, how much would Landon charge to let us in the group And I was
What?
I was like, bro, I don't know. That's a pretty elite group.
I probably wouldn't charge. I wouldn't make like I wouldn't like I would not make somebody pay the group to join the group, but the group would just be like invite only. I think that's the best way to do it.
10,000 they said, straight cash
Just money.
to your pocket. 20,000 they said.
I mean,
30,000 they said.
It's like the potential upside from the group.
50,000 in your.
It's worth more than the money that you keep adding on. And if people want to pay that, then maybe we could talk a little bit, right? That's gotta happen first.
75,000 in your pocket,
right?
Man. Just straight Bellagio chips, 1Ks that
get out of the
easily
get out of the down, easily cashable. You don't gotta worry about changing and breaking chips.
75,000. What do you say?
It just depends on like the value of like what are you going to bring? Because
no, they bring nothing.
They bring nothing.
They're like
money.
They're like a VIP that wants to get better.
Am I playing versus this person?
No, they live in France.
Live in France. If you're from France and you want to pay $75K to join this group, follow Landon Tice on Twitter and send me a DM.
Listen, we need to raise the price of Soft4Y TV. Like I don't know what this merch better sell. I'll say that. This merch better sell.
If the merch sells, the price stays.
Yeah.
Merch doesn't sell, back to $100 a month.
I like where your head's at, man. I think we're gonna hire you for like I don't know. We have to hire you for something business oriented.
Just here.
Like the people loved Landon, man. Like the people love Landon. It's one of those things. It's like you better enjoy it, man. When you're 30 and the people start being like
kind of washed.
Like
you know what I gotta do? I just gotta keep getting better.
Yeah.
If someone stays relevant for the entire time and it proves to be relevant, you can't say anything about it. Like Seidel is a good example of that. Like he's just been crushing forever.
And bossing.
Guy's just a beast forever, right? So it's like this guy's proven the test of time. And I'm gonna prove that by staying in the game and just keep getting better. Because strategy's gonna change.
For sure.
Many times over in the
maybe
coming years.
You get Nick and you start doing a little mixed game group.
I do want to get into mixed games.
That's kinda nice.
I do want to get into mixed games, that'll be fun. I just want to do what's fun. Like I made a tweet about it. Like I just genuinely just want to live the life I think I'm gonna have the most fun and like feel fulfilled with.
I feel as if like I sat you here because I feel like most people feel like they'll feel inspired by you in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
I was told my love for the game is infectious.
With that said, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. It was a really strategic heavy episode. It wasn't as much current. Yeah, people are gonna enjoy it. I think people are gonna love because Berkey doesn't like talk about hands.
I know.
You know, and it's like they get to hear two in-depth hands.
A little bit
of like high stakes, man. Like they don't get to do that a lot. Like Berkey usually like hands are boring. I mean, people are gonna be like, listen, this hand fucks, okay, and then they're gonna be like, I'm never bluffing again.
Yeah, they just always call. Yeah, the moral of the story is don't bluff. But that's not the moral of the story.
Yeah, of course. The moral of the story they'll have to be ready for.
Just trust yourself.
Yeah, trust yourself.
Worry about it later.
I hope you all enjoyed the show. Soft4Y TV. If you haven't liked our video, like it now. Subscribe. I hope you all enjoyed Landon. I hope you all enjoyed myself, Christian Soto, Ultimate Live Pro, Alpha of Bellagio 510. I don't give a fuck about nobody. I'll crossbook anyone. Come at me. I don't care.
This is what I do to you, huh?
Huh?
Just bring out the fire in you.
I'm lit, man.
Yeah.
You don't understand. Like I'm super lit. Like I don't give a fuck.
It's on.
It's on.
Yeah.
It's on. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Subscribe if you liked it. Tell your friends, man. We're out here like my man just gave away all the knowledge of like the range splits of the EV and all the distribution. I'm excited. Things are flying. I don't give a fuck. Good night. Good luck. Sign.